Greetings everyone. I hope you're well and having a great day. I'm Donovan. Welcome to Burnout and Break Stuff. This week's BBS video, or Chrysler Product Variety Show. While waiting on parts to make progress on other vehicles, I thought I would go ahead and dig out the 318 from my 1972 B100 van and do an autopsy on it, see if I can get it resurrected, along with the B300 from a 1972 van, 727. Stick those things together and have a basic engine to throw in the 1973 Dart Sport 340, known as hot dog flavored water. So while I wait to get this seized piston ring out of this piston, it's been soaking in this peanut butter blaster for the last week. Hopefully I can make some progress on this 318, at least get it torn down to where I can, go back. I only want to take it apart so far, down to a long block basically, put a new camshaft in it, windage tray on it, and reuse the parts from the 318 that was in the 74 Plymouth Duster before it became a 440 car. So let's go ahead and get into this and see how much progress we can make this week. Hopefully it'll be more forward instead of sideways or backwards. All right, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for checking in. I really appreciate everyone who views, likes, subscribes, all good things to you. I hope you have a great day. Let's get into this thing. Well, I'm a sucker for reusing as many old parts as I can, and I believe they're not used up yet. So there's potential for this 1972 318 from a B100 van, this 1972 727 from a B300 van that had a 318 in it as well. This has been rebuilt at one point in time. I don't have a receipt or anything for it. I was just told by the previous owner. I bought that van for 320 bucks. And this converter, the converter seal leaks on it, which would tell me it quite possibly was rebuilt, and whoever put the converter in it did not lubricate the seal, lubricate the converter before they slid it in there. And it also needs to be started in neutral in order for it to fill the pump, because the pump drains. This 318 has the top end section, the valve train, in other words, the camshaft, the lifters, push rods, rocker arms, and that came out of the 360 that I bought that's on the stand that we've looked at in previous videos. The cylinder heads are an Arrowhead 318 with Pioneer stainless valves and valve springs for 509 lift purple shaft. So they're all the stock dimensions for intake and exhaust valves. They haven't been ported or anything like that. Arrowhead is, I believe, a subdivision or just a company of Indy cylinder heads. So they sell remanufactured cylinder heads. So we'll use that, and we'll have to change out our van, our truck oil pan. They're rear sump. Cars, passenger vehicles are center sump, and we have a pickup. We have a carburetor here, 600, that we can rebuild and use again. This is our 8007 Lion Action Plus intake manifold that came from our 318 out of our Duster project here. So if we can reuse as many of these parts, I know the engine ran. I believe the camshaft, probably too much duration, and the like for an 8-to-1 318. I believe that 360 was more along the lines of 10-to-1. So what we can do is just go ahead and pressure wash the outside of this, swap the pan and the pickup, give it a Craigslist rebuild with some Duplicolor DE 1631 Chrysler Corporate Blue. Use these Headman headers that came with our Dart 340 hot dog flavored water. let's, you know, connect the dots. Let's put all these puzzle pieces together and get it stabbed in that dart sport while we wait for our 340 parts and the disassembly and getting the stuck rings out of the pistons, that type of thing. So let's go ahead and see what we can do with this. See if we can make this happen in a couple of weekends or something. All right, let's get into it. Let's take a look inside our 318, see what we have here. It sat under a tarp in the carport for the last approximately 10 years. And the rocker arm assemblies look new and in decent shape. Our camshaft looks pretty new and in decent shape as well. Looks like we have some surface rust developing there in the valley that we'll just have to clean out. We need to get these old gasket off of here and get that cleaned up. But let's do that and see what kind of progress we can make with this project in hopefully a short time. And it doesn't open a giant Pandora's box like so many other projects, but that's most likely what'll happen. Let's keep a positive attitude. All right, let's get in there and get her done. Okay, we're all set up on our engine stand again. Imagine that, not too long ago that was sitting right there. And that was, yeah, 340 was in its place. So anyway, so we got this up on the stand. We've got a coat of cleaning juice sitting on it, and we're gonna get ready to pressure wash it down. There's our return power steering sector for our 68 Dart GT convertible. That needs to go back to firm feel. The firm feel one is here. So we'll get that one swapped into the box and back to firm feel. Get our $250 core charge back. There's our engine. We get that washed up, and hey, there's our workhorse. Love that pressure washer. All right. Okay, with our work area cleaned up and our engine all spick and span, clean as a whistle, right? Heat off of it, that type of thing. All right, let's get it back in the shop. Start getting the intake, valve covers. Let's get that oil pan off there and make sure that we get the engine dried out so we don't have any water inside small areas, that type of thing. Leaking in through small areas, that's what I'm trying to say. All right, let's get it back in the shop, start getting it disassembled. Okay, with our engine back in the shop here, we'll go ahead and sop up the water from down in the cracks and crevices. We'll get our spark plugs out, get these valve covers off, this intake manifold off, and the oil pan off. That's what we're after. Want to get the spark plugs out of it, make sure they don't get any water down the intake or whatever. I mean, it's all theoretically sealed, but only so well. I didn't put new gaskets or anything in it, so let's get that stuff taken care of. Let's see what's for dinner. What's for dinner? Here's our oil pump. Set that aside. Fasteners. Oh, let's look at how clean this is. Oh, look at the cleanliness. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Yummers. I would think that's camshaft break-in lube. Looks like white molybdenum. Yeah, good stuff. Now that lunch is over, and boy was that good soup, we're gonna get our valve train removed. We're gonna take our rocker arms off, we're gonna set them aside, and then we're gonna remove our push rods. We're gonna set them aside, but we're gonna make sure that we put them all back in the same place. Once we get our rocker arms and push rods out of the way, we'll pack rags down into the valley here and then get these gaskets removed, vacuum out the debris from the gaskets that fall down in there. And then what we'll wanna do is check our tappets to make sure they're nice and free in the lifter bores to make sure they do not bind up and then flatten the camshaft. That would be all bad news. So let's get busy With our valve gear all removed and set aside, rags down in the valley, all the valves will be closed now. So when we go to clean our gasket debris, it's not going to end up in our cylinders, you know, through the open valves. And then we're able to come back with a vacuum cleaner, vacuum all that out. And so let's take a look at where we are now and how we did for cleanliness and the like. We use our vacuum cleaner to get in here and clean all that debris out of there, and we'll look at how we did. So let's do that. Let's take a look at what we have going on. Let's start out over here, and anything that has an established wear pattern, like I was saying, I'm going to take it out and I'm going to store it, and then I'm going to return it in the exact same locations with which I removed it. So we were able to get all of our gasket mating surfaces cleaned up on the cylinder heads and the block deck. Have all of our trash sitting down there on the rags, and then we'll carefully remove those rags, keeping as much of that debris out of the valley as possible. There's our other setup, valve train. And we want to clean from the top down, right? So we don't have garbage falling down in below and mucking up our lifters and our camshaft. That's what we're trying to avoid, is damaging our camshaft. And so next up, what we'll do is carefully remove the rags, and we'll get down in there with the vacuum cleaner again and get the debris out of the valley as much as we can. And then we'll inspect our lifters. We want to make sure that our lifters move up and down easily in the lifter bores. Okay, next up. Now with the rags removed from our lifter valley and our debris removed, cleaned up as good as we can for right now, we're next going to look at our lifters and see how we get that one there moves freely. That's what we're looking for. And this one right here, unfortunately, is stuck. That one there moves freely. This one here is stuck. Got a couple of them that are stuck, and we're going to take these lifters out of here. We'll go ahead and rotate our engine a little bit and see if we can get those lifters to break free for us. I mean, there we go. Okay, there's our oil that we put down in there earlier. I got that freed up now. See that one doesn't want to go freely up and down in the, we'll have to make sure we get that cleaned out. There we go. We got them all freed up. Then what we're going to do is we're going to remove them in the same place they came from, and we're going to put them in this lifter box from Powerhouse. That way they all go back on the same lobes they came from. So we'll go ahead and slip this one up out of here. Just go over there and there, because we're not going to use this cam and this engine. This cam, as I recall, it was not the right application for this engine. Interesting. There's something wrong with that. Don't know. For right now, it's fine. I'm just getting them out of the way. Oh, one more here. There. There. Next up on our to-do-ski list, get this water pump damper out of the way, get our timing cover out of the way, expose our timing set to get our camshaft out of here. So let's get busy. puller up there. Having a good time, lots of fun. Oh yeah. Now let's get our balancer out of the way. Balancer dampen. Not balancing anything. Side. Power steering pump bracket. Alright. Broken. Lock washer. Alright. Oh, yeah, it helped to get the last one out of there, won't it? Be hammering for a long time. Long time.
And remove our timing cover.
Alright, there's our timing set. A slinger in there for slinging some oil. Next up, we get this timing set out of here, get our camshaft out. Alright, progress. Next up, let's get this timing set out of here. Maybe. Wow, feisty. And this timing set out of the way. Trousers, that's tight on there. It's not really happy with any of that. That guy comes forward fine. Yes, it moves. Okay, it's not one thing, it's another. Yay, Merry Christmas. All right. There we go, finally. Thrills. Okay, let's get that out of the way. Cam plate out of the way. Okay. Side. See if our camshaft will come out of here. What say you, camshaft? Oh, nice and spinny. Cam handle, just drop it right down on there. Dink up those cam bearings. Okay. All right. With our camshaft out of the way, hopefully, this is as far as we're tearing this engine down. So what we'll do next is do a round of cleanup and do one of my favorite things, one of my favorite segments, what's in the box. So let's get to it. Find out what's in the box. Okay, with some cleaned up floor space here, let's find out what's in the box, what the nice folks at Summit Racing has sent us. All right. Packing job on the, just throw them in there and let them get smashed around. Nice. That's it's our plastic gauge for checking our bearing clearances on the crank and the rods. Some cam bearings for our 340. Some piston rings for our 340. If we can ever get the one ring off of the number 6 piston. The second ring down doesn't want to come free. Oh boy, that was heavy. Okay. Well, the boxes aren't flat, so that's good. Okay. What do we have here? All right. Our steering sector for our 57 Power Wagon. So we can get that in there and get that sent back for its core return. That'll be good news. Okay, set this aside. Okay, our Lucas Oil ZDDP for our flat tappet cams puts the zinc back in there that's missing from all oils as far as I know today. It doesn't matter if it's heavy duty diesel oil, if it's got an API donut of SC or whatever, it no longer has ZDP in it. That's what I've read anyway. All right, oil filter cutting. Cut an oil filter open with that. See what kind of garbage is trapped in there. Okay, intake manifold gaskets for our 318 project that's going on right here. That's good news. Windage tray for our 318, because we're going to spin that thing up about 10,000 RPMs with the stock oil pan and the like. I'm just kidding. Carburetor gasket. Fat insulating type. Mylodon studs for the windage tray. That's that. Boy, we're just going to town with all kinds of goodness. It's like my birthday and Christmas and all of it combined. And last but not least, let's see what we have. All right. Got a cam, lifters, and timing set for our 318 or our 340. Haven't decided yet. Probably use the same one in both. Well, not the same camshaft in both engines. That'd be kind of complicated. One would run, the other one wouldn't. Anyway, greatly appreciate you stopping in, and didn't get these parts soon enough to get this stuff done this week, so we'll be looking at next week. Definitely want to get that steering sector in that 57 Power Wagon for sure, and yeah, make the progress there, get that closer to new caretaker. So I appreciate everyone stopping by to see what's going on at the Burnout and Brake Stuff shop, the Chrysler Product Variety Show here, and making the progress. So thank you very much for stopping by, liking, sharing, subscribing, all good things. And I wish everyone a great day.